I've been sharing a ton of my predictions and thoughts around the storylines and new characters that we are seeing in season 7. But I also have a few thoughts around the new men in our ladies' lives that we got to meet in season 6. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Sistas video. And in this one, we're going to talk about what exactly we know about all of the guys or the new men in our sisters' lives. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notification so you don't miss out on any of my sisters' content and conversations. I'm excited to do this one because I've been low-key collecting little facts and tidbits about these fellas. I have made no qualms about how I feel about Tony, but like, let me go ahead and round it out and talk about all of the fellas. But let's go ahead and start with Tony. So he's a VP at the airport at one of the airlines. Great. He's divorced with 2 kids from a previous marriage. Cool. He stalks Danni at work. Got it. Lost his grandfather and drives around in his grandfather's van, which happens to look like the van of a man who abducts people. Got it. Believes him and his friends are the greatest men that ever walked this earth. And then tried to fight Gary for cheating on Penelope. Cool. I don't like Tony. Something about him just don't sit well with me. I struggle with men who are going to talk about it versus being about it, because you can say a bunch of things. You can string together some words very eloquently. You can whisper sweet nothings in my ear and seem very, very charming in word. But are you charming indeed? Are you a gentleman indeed? Are you amazing in your deeds? Because up until this point, we have only seen you run up on Danni at her damn job multiple times, invade her privacy by listening in on her phone calls, and then insert yourself into her current relationship regardless of how tumultuous or toxic it is. It's none of your damn business, and yet and still here you are. I really struggle with believing that Tony believes in monogamy when he was able to so like loudly and proudly pursue Danni while she was in a committed relationship. Again, regardless of how toxic that committed relationship was, she said that she was in a committed relationship. You know that she was in a committed relationship, and you just was like, well, forget about that man. What about me? It makes me wonder, how did your divorce come about? In all honesty, I'm wondering how all of these men's divorces came about, because all 3 of them are divorced and y'all are all friends. Birds of a feather. Do I have to say the rest? Now, in putting my bias aside, he's fine. Okay. Tony is fine. He tall. He got such clear, beautiful skin and lovely teeth. Black man with bomb teeth. Like, it usually will get me every single time, except for his character is not lining up with the presentation that we're seeing. And then what we know is coming in season 7 is that the ex-wife as well as the 2 kids gonna pop up on him and Danni having sex at the office, at the place of work and business. And then the ex-wife don't want to let him go, and we get a moment in the trailer where we got to see him say, well, you knew what you signed up for in the beginning. Oh, excuse me? Are you sure those are the words that you wanted to say to Miss Daniella King? Are you sure that's a disposition that you want to take? Are you sure that's a position that you want to put her in? Because if given the option, Danni, I understand, honey, your trauma and your past and your desire to never be alone because you struggle with that. But drop this man like a bad habit, because who the hell are you talking to, Tony? I knew what I signed up for. I knew that you were divorced. I knew that you had 2 kids, because hopefully we've had that conversation. But I did not know that when I was trying to give you some on this desk at work, that I would have to worry about your kids coming in on us and your ex-wife right behind. I also didn't know that your ex-wife still wanted you, because you play like, oh, y'all divorced and everything is all good because you and your homeboys have left that drama behind, and it was all the women that they were with fault, and they are great guys and there's nothing wrong with y'all, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. That's what I knew. And y'all, this is me giving Danni all of the credit, because we know what her baggage is. We know what she come with. But at the end of the day, like, again, Tony, who the hell are you talking to? You knew what you signed up for. I signed up for some great sex and a decent relationship. All the other stuff, all the extras, I don't know if I actually signed on the dotted line. Did you see the initials? I don't think you saw no initials next to those particular bullet points in the contract, sir. So no. As y'all can see, I'm not a fan of Tony. I'm not a fan of Tony for Tony reasons, but I'm also not a fan of Tony for Danni, because I feel like Danni needs a single season desperately. Danni needs a season where she sews back into herself. Danni needs a season where she refills her cup. Danni needs a season where she convinces herself that she is worthy outside of her relationship, outside of her job, outside of her friends. Danni needs a season where she figures out what the hell she's actually living for. I'm just trying to call it like I see it. Moving on. Mr. Jordan. He is Penelope's brother, a politician. He's running for city council. Unfortunately, Gary put some funds into his campaign, so hopefully he don't get wrapped up in the whole FBI investigation of it all, because Gary is poison, toxic, and anybody connected to him is going to fall. Anyway, he found Andi on a dating app, and he is also divorced, but it doesn't seem like he has any kids because none of them have come out of the woodwork just yet. For all intents and purposes, Jordan seems like a good guy. He seems like a guy that maybe married the wrong woman, maybe married very young, which means that you didn't necessarily know yourself. She didn't necessarily know herself. The moment that he asked Andi, did she know, seemed a bit like, but I get why he did it in protection of his sister. So he doesn't give me that he blames everything on the women that, you know, he might be interacting with, unlike Tony, right? In the date that Andi and Jordan had, he did talk about how he was, you know, just coming up short when it came to all of the online dating and people not being who they say they were, and catfishing him and all of that. He seems like a very honest and straightforward guy. After the whole debacle of finding out that Andi dated Gary and Gary impregnated his sister, he still was pursuing Andi, and he still wants to get to know her. He's still very much so attracted to her, and he moves with a certain level of caution, but still a little bit of bravado. So I appreciate that. Like, he definitely has masculine energy that shows that he can really lead within a relationship. I think we're going to get to know a lot more about Jordan. I have a video talking about him actually getting on board to help take Gary down, because I definitely think that he's going to get his sister's lick back as well as his. He probably doesn't appreciate the fact that he actually befriended Gary, and for him to be such a trash male, especially with Tony talking about, we don't do that, we let you in our circle, we don't do that. I don't know. Some of it is like, your friends are a mirror to you. So also, Jordan, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt, but if you are really, really close friends with Tony, I don't necessarily know, child. I don't know, because Tony just is not it. Anyway, that's what we know about Jordan. Last but certainly not least, Rich. And I love the actor who plays Rich. Like, shout out to Monty. He is so raggedy on bruh, and I hate him so bad on bruh, but he be dropped in on bruh as well, and like playing the hell out of his character on bruh. And it's so wild, because if you see him like on social media or in real life, Monty is like such a dropped in, grounded, like spiritual type of person, not a boy at all. So I feel like Rich is probably a character closer in line to who he actually is. But what we were given in the story, like, let me go off of what we given in the story. He's also divorced. Apparently he does not want kids, and that's something that we're going to find out in season 7 as him and Sabrina get more serious within their relationship. I do have a video talking about how they make it official, so you can check that out after this video if you choose. He believes him and his friend are great men as well, because him and Tony like, yeah, we great, Jordan's great, I'm great, everybody's great. Okay, again, stop talking about it and be about it. And it seems like he's the more level-headed one. He's the one who stopped the fights before they were breaking out between Gary and Jordan, as well as Gary and Tony. Now, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he's level-headed versus he's the type of person to play devil's advocate. I don't really get down with people who play devil's advocate, because I believe that the devil don't need no advocate, and I really get kind of cautious with overly neutral people in clearly problematic situations. But I'm trying to assume the best about Rich and not be like, okay, he did not just break up these fights and calm people down because he want to play both sides, and he's gonna still be Gary's friend on the back end. I don't get that about him, but you never know, child. This is the Tyler Perry Sistas universe, so we never know what some people's motives are. We don't necessarily know his full career just yet, or I have to go back and check it out. If we do know his career, update it in the chat, in the comment section, and tell me, y'all. He's very serious about serious relationships, and he seems very interested in Sabrina. Now, all the guys seem interested in the girls, but I felt a certain level of intention and specificity in the very brief scenes that we got to see Rich interacting with Sabrina, which, if I'm thinking about who's going to make it, I think that Sabrina and Rich are more likely to make it versus any of them. So like Tony and Danni, I've had videos about if they're going to make it. If you want to know in depth of why I believe what I'm about to say, then you can watch those videos, but spoiler alert, they not compatible. Jordan and Andi, but Rich and Sabrina might possibly make it, because aside from him not wanting kids, he seems very grounded and into Sabrina, not just for her physical. But again, Tyler, we need to do better in giving them more screen time so that we can see what they're actually talking about, because at this point we're going a lot off of vibes, and I don't like that. All right, y'all, that is what we know about all three guys who are going to be the new prominent men in our sisters' lives as we enter into season 7. How do y'all feel about each of them? Are they good replacements for, you know, Preston, Gary, and Calvin? Not me being messy, but I really want to know. So please tell me in the comment section down below. Are they good replacements for the guys that we have known for the past 5-6 seasons? Are we excited into this new journey with these new men that the girls are walking into? Tell me all that and more in the comment section down below. It's your good sis, you let us talk TV with, and check this video out next.